And
What's
that
up?
was short.
It was very short. That's very short. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a random Monday Night Live
Hello.
featuring our special guest, Amber Truth Seeker, now ATS News. You're gonna have to fill me in on the ATS News where that one came from. Why
It's
you?
Amber Truth Seeker.
I know, but it just I know, but it just you're Amber Truth Seeker to me. I don't know how to.
No, it's so corny, so I had to change it. I never
Really?
liked it.
You have well, then
I
yeah,
just
you gotta
made
change.
it and then got stuck, and I was like, "Oh, great."
I like Amber Truth Seeker. That's just who you are to me.
Yeah, that's why I had to keep it, but change it at the same time.
All right, let's see who's all here today. We got Delaney, there's Missy, Cup of Stars, hi Jeanette, BR the Star,
Hello, everyone.
Sarah, CDT in the house, 307 Mrs. Troy, Paul
I've been kind of
T.
branching out lately into like other chats. So I
Oh, have
recognize
you?
more people now.
Oh, look at you. Salty C. Okay, so I gotta know. Hey, Jennifer. I gotta know all the people in the chat, like how obsessed are you guys with this trial? Because I can't stop. I have to see like every second of it. Like I'm even watching like when they're just sidebarring. I'm not even fast forwarding. I'm like waiting like in anticipation. That's how attached I am to this.
I don't know about the whole trial. I've been following it, but I'm definitely obsessed with like the recaps.
I'm doing both. Like I'm watching real time, and then again the recaps because
They are funny.
yeah, they're good. They're good.
Well, now that Johnny Depp is finished up, do you think it's still going to be as enticing?
Okay.
I guess my dog has an answer for that one.
What was the question?
Sorry, I had a dog interrupto. So now that Johnny Depp is no longer on the stand, do you think that the trial is still going to be just as enticing? Seriously?
I mean, I think people at this point hopefully are invested enough that they'll still watch and like root for Johnny. I think at this point people are sucked in like we are. Maybe.
I think that if are they really going to call Elon? Like, is he going to testify?
From my understanding,
and Franco. James Franco, right?
I heard James Franco. I've heard Elon Musk. I've heard some other character witnesses for Johnny still before it gets, over to her side. And then she's going to have to testify.
Yeah, then I think it's totally going to keep up.
Yeah, I people are waiting for her to go up there and get cross-examined by Johnny's team.
It's going to be so good.
What are
you guys carry on for a second while I handle this pup.
Okay. I don't know about you, Christine, but I just feel her team has been very inadequate so far. Like they've just haven't impressed me at all.
No, not at all. And have you seen the clip today? So the one with her attorney he's objects to himself.
Yeah.
I was dying on that one.
I love how they like zoomed in on like Johnny and his lawyer like cracking up about it too. Like, how could you not? It's just and she has money, and this is the team that she's put together. Like the woman early on, I feel made the mistake with that makeup situation.
Oh gosh. Yes. We were talking I think it was like the ward case studies has been doing like every day following it. And the other morning we were talking and said like she obviously doesn't have as much money as he does. And his attorneys are like a team. We likened it to like his attorneys are Sephora and her attorneys are CVS. So I kind of think that's really reflective of like the whole thing.
Okay, so I would take it back. Let's take it back closer to the beginning. So you watched it from day one, right, Amber?
Yeah.
Okay, so as they go through like his, you know, his buddy Isaac is like one of my favorite people on the planet, and like I want to go hang out with this dude.
The artist.
Yes,
Yeah.
and his resident who rented from him or whatever.
Right.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
That guy, like, I think we could be best friends, like, forever. But so he's testifying, and one of the big parts for me was when, like, they ask him if he's like angry at Amber, and he says like, no, like, I'm not angry with her, like I want her to like move on and heal. And I want to know if like that impacted other people like it impacted me, because I view the trial like trying to see it like through a juror, but obviously I have some bias because if you guys don't know, I am Team Johnny. But I want to see like how the jurors are going to perceive that. And so if something impacts me, I kind of like to know how it impacts like you guys or anybody else. So because if it impacts the majority of us the same, the chances are the jury sees it that way.
He was really believable, really like he just tug at your heart, believable. He was really earnest, and he didn't go up there like just bad mouthing Amber. Like he seemed really distraught by the whole thing, the whole situation.
Well, that's how I felt. Go ahead.
And they tried to make it seem like, I mean, Amber's team tried to make it seem like he was saying everything to side with Johnny because he'd known him so long and like owes him money. Because remember that artist and that resident like rents from Johnny and like pays like little to nothing and has like loaned him money. They've known each other for a long time. So they tried to say like, oh, do you feel indebted to Johnny? And he was like, no, like I don't feel that way. I'm not saying these things because I owe him, you know? So I thought, and I believe that. I definitely believe that. What I think is interesting too is as far as like you talking about your bias towards being Team Johnny, I mean, I think that it really hurts Amber in the aspect that I've watched like the whole UK thing that took place. And I've heard all the phone calls that they've been kind of rehearsing or rehashing. And like I kind of knew all that because during COVID and trapped inside, like Watts and Johnny and Amber Heard phone calls were all I was like listening to. I had already had like,
COVID's fault.
Yeah, preconceived like opinion about Amber Heard just because of their divorce mess. So I think it really hurts Amber for so many people who have already known that she's cuckoo, and plus there was all that stuff going around lately about her and what's his name, the Aquaman, or what's his name,
Jason Momoa.
Yeah, there's like a rumor going around that she's the reason why Jason and what's Lisa, right? Or
Bonet,
yeah. That
I thought that they split up because she cheated.
That I've only seen it be questioned that did he cheat with Amber?
Oh,
but
really?
I haven't looked in a few weeks, but yeah, the last thing that I had seen where they were trying to say or speculate and maybe blame Amber for the divorce between the two, but who knows? But all that was kind of coming out before this trial, so I just feel like Amber is not in a good light with a public opinion at all. And this is already like this case involves domestic DV. So it's like for people to still not really be on her side, it says a lot about her, I think.
But you take it back even further with when you're talking about like the divorce and stuff. And that settlement, she still to this day, as far as I know, has never proven that she donated a penny to those charities that she was supposed to donate that $7 million to.
Oh, well, they said that she said that she put so much of it had to go towards like legal defenses and stuff.
Yeah, and then she tried to switch it up and say she was going to do like a monthly payment.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was never a definite proof that she followed through with it. Like there might have been talk that it went here or went there, but I don't know.
So then you have the the divorce happens. Well, first you have the TRO, then you have the divorce, then you have the Sun articles that come out because of the TRO. So then he sues the Sun in the UK and loses. Well, wait, no, you have, he was still fighting, no, he was fighting that. She already did the op-ed before that went to trial in the UK. Trying to get my timeline down. Right? So the op-ed comes out in 2018 for Washington Post, and then the trial for the son happens in the UK, which he loses, and then you have the trial now. Am I missing any?
I'm not sure. I've really only been watching the trial now.
I'm just thinking, like, they've really only been together since 2013. Uh-oh, we lost the Ember. They've only been together since 2013.
Mm-hmm.
They were divorced by, married in 2015, divorced by 2016, and then you have, so 9 years, and they've been in court this many times.
Yeah, well, I think that it's like, man, see, I have so many different ways that I view this, but like, I think that
we lost you, Amber.
Sorry.
How I was saying, like, too bad Elon, her and Elon broke up in 2017. And I was thinking, like, man, if that hadn't happened, the op-ed article probably wouldn't have either. Like, it seems like she's just after the money to me. Or like she would have wrote an op-ed article about Elon, who knows? I don't know. She doesn't have much credibility, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I don't think she has any credibility, but once again, I'm trying to not be as biased as I know I really am when it comes to the situation, but she everything that's happened since he left her has been spiteful. It's never like to better herself or better her community or better her, her women's rights, or it's never to better anything. It's literally out of spite.
And the timeline of the op-ed article was in line with when she had a movie releasing soon, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think that's what I was under the impression, that it was like it was right before or something. She had, I don't know, was it like Aquaman or something?
I think it was Aquaman, but I don't remember when that came out. Hi, Alex. ATS is having some technical difficulties. She'll be back. Jen Lee says, like, when we started watching, she was split. But after watching him testify and hearing more, I believe him. So I that was one big question that I actually had too, was, is it going to work against him that he is obviously a very good actor? Is a jury going to think that he's up there acting, or are they going to believe him?
So I've not been following this the whole time, like all along the way, but like I haven't seen her on the stand yet, but to me so far, he is credible. He's not like denying, that he ever drank, or he's not denying that these things happen, but he is adamantly denying that he ever put hands on her and was abusive physically. I don't know. He's credible to me.
Yeah, I think he's credible too, but he's also, he's a really good flipping pirate. So, I don't know. Like, I would believe that he's a pirate. Hi, Tiffany.
There was something that like the attorney was like touching on today that I kind of was like, ooh, could this part kind of corner him? Because he was specifically saying about how, this lawsuit is in regards to the op-ed article where no names were said, but he had cornered, like, regardless of any of this other stuff happened all during this time, this article never said your name and stuff. And I was just thinking, like, man, that might get him backed into a corner where the jury is like, did this article actually defame him? Like, does the general public know who she's talking about? Like, I think that'll be a big, like, point of, contention. Like, does the general public, did they read this article and attribute it to Johnny Depp, or did they not, you know?
Well, I think that the issue is that the people he had contracts with, such as Disney, they read the article and inferred that it was about Johnny. So I think that's where the defamation is going to come in. I mean, general public, that it's, I don't know. I'm obviously not like a superstar, so I'm not like plastered all over tabloids or anything, even though YouTube seems like it sometimes. But it's, he's like, he has trash stories, but when he starts, those never cost him to lose his jobs.
Right. I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens next week. Like, what do you think that she's going to go on the stand, like time wise?
Well, I don't know how many more witnesses they have, so I'm assuming that they're probably going to finish by this week, and then she'll probably be up sometime next week. That's my thought process, but I don't know. Well, somebody in here said they're on the opposite side. I want to hear a gal. I'm on a different side than most. He has many red flags flying with him. Depp is good at his job, and so is H. Weinstein. I see. I can see that, but all I see is that he was an addict. I think that her team has done a great job proving what he said already, which was that he was an addict. But I don't know if I see domestic violence as in him being abusive to her on top of what we know she's done to him and that she's openly admitted she's done to him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jennifer says this is supposed to be 7 weeks long. She's acting, in my opinion. Alex, I agree with you. Well, you can see there. This is one of the reasons. So I watched the trial live, and I go watch a lot of like the clips and stuff from like other channels because they find so many cool things. But there's a couple times where she's like looking down or like talking to her attorney, and she's kind of chuckling, and then she looks up and sees the camera and immediately goes stoic. It's like the weirdest thing. And I'm like, you think you're an actress, but you're actually not very good at it. And so I agree with Johnny's perception that she was wanting to use him to help kind of boost her image a little bit. I do think she had an unhealthy love for him. Amber's back. Let's see how she's doing. How's that internet?
Hey,
Maybe.
sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, not you, Siri. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Siri's
you.
off. Yes.
Sorry.
ATS
I've been
News. I can
listening,
hear
but
you.
hopefully it's better. But I've been listening, and I just took a little bit of notes while you guys were talking. But I do find him credible, but I do see what you mean by maybe questioning, like, are people gonna see him as a character up there? You know, because I mean, there were times where he'll say something funny or whatever, and it's like, that's just I think it's just who he is. And I think, honestly, judging by what his doctor diagnosed him as, I don't think that his personality is like quirkiness is too far off from some of his characters, personally. I've been like a Johnny Depp fan for a long time, and
Me too.
you know, and if you have to work with Tim Burton and in those movies, you got to kind of be a little level of like, you know, the darkness. And he kind of talks about like, my humor is just, you know, dark humor, and they call it British humor or whatever. But it's just, I think honestly he has high approval ratings, that it's not really going to matter if at certain points he sounds like maybe he's quote acting. I think her being up there, people are already going to see her as a phony type actor, whereas he's just Johnny Depp, so people are like, oh, that's just how he is. Like, I think, like I said, his characters aren't really too far off from who he is in real life. The other things that I just took notes on was when you were talking about Disney. And yeah, they dropped him and like immediately were like anti him after how many years, how many millions of dollars. I mean, he wrote Jack Sparrow. Like he,
Right.
you know, that was his character. And Disney didn't do half the stuff that like he was able to do for those films because of his improv and his just, you know, snapping into that character the way he did. And then Disney tried to come around and kind of like warm up to him again and apologize. And he had said it one of the days testifying that, it was just too late at that point.
So somebody in chat actually said that, there was the point in the trial that they did talk about that Disney was going to, there was rumors that Disney was going to drop him before the op-ed ever even came out due to, Pirates 5, obviously that's where the finger fiasco happens, which we'll talk about too. But that he was, he was late to the set. He was, when he went back to the States, that it cost them like 2 weeks in filming, which was, millions of dollars, and they were already mad at him
and stuff. Yeah. They tried to say that he was using earpiece and all that and couldn't function without certain help like that. And it's like, that's just, I feel like the jury's going to see that as like theoretical. Like you said, he's not denying that he didn't have addiction problems. You know what I mean? That's why they had his sister talk about the childhood aspects and his doctor talk about, how he diagnosed him as like poly whatever, which is like means like multi-use of drugs, and they had him as bipolar. So I feel like Disney, honestly, they would probably still work with him even if this never happened and they were going to make another Pirates. I feel like Disney would still use Johnny Depp. You know what I mean?
Like, see, that's my thought too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that this whole like lawsuit and all the attention it's getting is, whether he wins or not, has done good for him and his public perception. I think it's improved it so far, but regardless if he wins or not, like I doubt he cares if he wins or not. He just wants, to me, it seems like he just wants to clear his name. Honestly.
Yeah. And I guess like that's the whole point of like the defamation. It's like now he's got his side out there at least,
Even like the amount he's suing her for is reasonable. It's just reasonable. And then she comes back with 100 million. Like, that's greedy.
Right.
Well, she sees it as an opportunity to make some money out of it. To me, I feel like for him, it's like, I don't care if I win. I want, as he keeps saying, like, I want to tell my story. Like, I haven't been able to tell my story.
So and I have a question about like stuff that happened last week when that woman, when that woman got dismissed by the judge, like mid testimony. And it was one of his witnesses. Was she doing him, like, was she testifying? Was it helping him before she got? Yeah. And that's.
So my understanding, unless you want to explain it, Theresa, if you know.
No, you do it, please.
So I guess there was some post that she had on her Instagram that was saying like it was a picture of Johnny, and then like she like either changed the caption of it or like added a comment or something, and it said something along the lines of like her old friend had a win today in court or something along the lines of speaking about the trial, like on her social media. And it was they had like found that out like during that day. So while she was there and all that, and so she was questioned by the judge if she whatever outside of the courtroom like talked about the trial or whatever, because
she was like talking about like Amber Heard being like crazy. I hate that word sometimes, but she was talking about her behavior in his favor before that happened.
She had gone on about like pretty much Amber Heard's drug use. I think that was like what was really I'm from what I'm remembering, Theresa, unless she was vital as far as painting Amber Heard as like a very she used a lot of drugs also.
Right. Okay. That she had her own monster.
Yes.
Rain says, what do we think about James and Elon testifying tomorrow? Well, my question is, are they testifying tomorrow? Because I didn't know they were testifying this soon. I thought that they were probably testifying next week or end of this week. So if you know when, then I'd love to hear that, because I didn't know. I'm actually very interested. I don't know how you can. I mean, James Franco, I don't know if you guys are aware, but he's had a lot of claims made against him throughout his career, and some that have made him look really bad.
Oh,
So I'm
yeah.
not really sure that his testimony is going to be beneficial. I don't know.
What if Elon gets up there and is like, "Oh yeah, I broke up with her because she was very unreliable and her behavior was erratic." What if he gets up there and just smashes her?
Well, I thought he was testifying on her side. I thought he was on her witness list. Is he on? Okay.
See, I don't know the detail on where James or Elon fall. So are they both on her side?
I thought they
Elon's
both were
on hers.
This is going to be interesting. But
Right.
yeah, they're definitely going to I mean, James Franco, the gist from I get from him is he's like Hollywood's like celebrity drug dealer too.
That's been rumored. And
Allegedly.
he's allegedly hit on some very young girls.
Maybe it'll be like, "James, did you ever sell Amber Heard drugs?" And then he'll say no, and then it'll be like, "See, she never did drugs."
Yeah, she never did drugs ever because James Franco didn't give them to her. Okay, so somebody brought up in the chat a little while ago, hi Aries girl, that can we talk about the makeup palette? Because this was like a huge thing in the public eye, but I'm not sure how it will translate to the trial. Because
they're not allowed to look at all the media stuff.
Correct.
So do they even know? Well, I'm wondering if Johnny's team is going to clarify that when they cross-examine her. They're going to be like, when did you start working as a whatever client or whatever for, is it Milani? Is that
Milani? Yeah.
Okay. And then they're going to say, and when was this company made? Or they're going to paint a timeline that's going to show that like, there's no way she was using that makeup palette to cover up bruises and DV evidence because that makeup palette wasn't even created when she was with Johnny. So I feel like they're going to lay it out for the jury, hopefully.
Then her attorneys are going to be like, but attorneys will just say, "Well, it wasn't like it. It wasn't. We didn't mean it like specifically. This is the one that came out."
No, that's what they show. They have the concealer kit in their hands,
and
they're showing it to the jury.
They didn't say like this is the one. It just came out of her purse. See, you can see the.
Like this is the makeup. This is the kit. The whatever kit it's called, the concealer kit. This is what she's used and had in her purse and carried in her purse since she started dating Johnny.
Yes.
And the fact that the company comes out, the company themselves comes out and with a nope. This was not created until 2017, which is after you broke up. So blame Elon Musk.
Milani said like they came out and they did that video like because we don't want to be involved.
Well, first they said they didn't want to be involved, and then they came out with the video.
Yeah.
There you go.
I feel like at first they didn't want to be attached because it is like a DV situation. So they don't want, even though it's defamation, it involves their disputes, you know? So they were probably like, oh, we don't want to be involved. And then, like I said, I feel like the public opinion is he was trying to get away from her during these situations, you know, like anytime that he was maybe had to put his hands on her was how he had described thus far, which was he put his hands on her shoulders and he sat her on the bed and said, "You're staying here. I'm leaving. Don't try and follow me." And then another time he had talked about how she was erratic and he like bear hugged her to kind of control her arms. And I believe both those situations. Like Winona Ryder coming out and even his ex-wife coming out defending him. Those previous relationships matter as far as testimonies, I think.
But how much of this palette, go back to the palette for a second. How much of this palette info do you think they'll be able to bring in to this trial? Do you think they can?
Why wouldn't they be able to?
Yeah. They're going to say these people gave you the impression that she was using this makeup to cover up markings from this man, which he adamantly denies. And come to find out, you guys need to know that this company wasn't even created until blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, I hope.
Well, the problem I see is that they did this in the opening statements.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have anybody actually testifying to it where there's going to be room for, like, where does Johnny's team insert this information in their closing arguments? Because they don't have anybody testifying about this makeup palette. It's just what the attorney says during opening statements.
Yeah. And no one's allowed to look at all these clips that we're talking about. So how will the jury know?
Oh, yeah, if the jury finds out, then we're going to be in big trouble because then there's going to be a mistrial.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking of mistrial, have you heard the gargantuan rumors of Amber Heard's friends putting flyers and passing out pro Amber Heard flyers all over the parking lot?
I heard about people being paid to be part of her side or something, but I didn't really look into it.
Aren't they not even allowed to like acknowledge the fans outside the courtroom?
Yeah.
I don't know. I found it interesting because apparently the attorneys did make a statement that it would not cause a mistrial, but there was people outside that are handing out the flyers, like basically, that Amber Heard has been the face of DV for all these years and how, like, support women, blah blah blah, and but the jurors are walking in, so they were saying that if you hand out, or if the juror gets one of these flyers, that it could potentially be an issue and cause a mistrial. But the attorneys came forward apparently and said that they don't see that happening. But I still think it's, why is there a group of people outside handing out
The whole entire
flyers?
platform of domestic violence doesn't even want to be involved with this anymore. Like, I'm sure like all domestic abuse survivors want nothing to do with Amber Heard. Yeah.
Because she is the type that would make everyone else not be believed.
Yeah. I've heard that said by a few different like news like outlets that this just sets back domestic violence victims, and it just sets them back so far because of all this.
Yeah, she's the girl who called wolf or whatever.
Yeah, she's the girl who. So do you know that she has, and apparently has all of this scrubbed, but has a history of domestic violence with her ex-wife?
With her what?
Yes,
with her ex-wife.
Oh my gosh.
I had also heard that her mother is terrified of her.
Oh, I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Her late mother, I think she passed away since.
Is that Paige?
Yes, Paige allegedly was terrified of her.
Really?
I can't remember where I'd heard that, but yeah.
So for the ex-wife, I think they were dating. I think it was actually before they were married. She was arrested because a female officer, had witnessed Amber Heard hitting this woman in like a public setting. So she arrested her, and then they tried to sell the story. Amber Heard tried to sell the story to like a TMZ. I don't know if it was TMZ or not, but basically saying that, okay, Sarah, we'll see you later. That she was homophobic, and that's why this officer was doing this. That she did not witness any of that. She was just homophobic because Amber Heard, had a wife, basically.
Wow.
Come to find out, this officer had actually been like contributing to like LGBTQ communities, like whether it was donations or like showing support in certain ways, like on social media, for many years. But they didn't know that, and so they tried to sell that she was a homophobe.
And then was it shown, and like were those receipts brought forth and like, no, I've been done?
She did. The officer came forward because they plastered her name and her information, photo and everything all over one of these tabloids, and so she came forward and said, like, thanks for like kind of outing me for something that is absolutely not true.
And that is the level of manipulation.
But that's gone. It's not even on her record. It's scrubbed. And then this ex-wife comes out in support of her, during this whole fiasco with the 2016 and on.
Who's her ex-wife?
I'd have to get you her name. I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Huh.
She wasn't like a huge famous person. Then you have her assistant who testifies basically that her ex-assistant, because the woman left, that she spat on her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, you know what, I really the part about like her like chasing him, like when he'd try to be like leaving an argument, you know, and she would like chase him from like bathroom to bathroom or whatever. That really like resonated because I've been in like a bad relationship where, you know, like it's like toxic to each other. I think their relationship was toxic too. They were both toxic to each other. But like, where does the like physical part come in? You know, like I don't know. But her chasing him from room to room while he's like trying to like run away from the argument was like, eek, didn't bode well.
And it's not even the audio, just the audios of us hearing that, where like you could tell where he's saying there was literally, I can count 2 audios thus far that have that scenario where you hear him and even he says like, I'm leaving, stay here, don't follow me. And then today, Theresa, you'll see eventually when you finish it, the like house manager that was working with them at one point says the same thing like you just described. That he witnessed numerous arguments where you know, Johnny would leave and go into a room and Amber would follow him banging on the door, and it was like always, it's just a repeating cycle of like Johnny wanting to get away. And then like the couples therapist described, she has like abandonment issues. So when he would try to de-escalate and, you know, leave the room, that would trigger her even more. And it's like, oh my gosh, you could just tell it was a never ending cycle. And then he like says at some point today in one of the audios, he's like, you're not helping, because she says something about, you know, why are you leaving or something. And he's like, this isn't helping.
She absolutely gaslights the crap out of him when he's trying to leave the room. Like, she's like, you know, she's like screaming at him, like super high pitched, and he's talking normal Johnny talking. And then all of a sudden she's like, stop yelling at me. And it's like, you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she screams the part at him like she's like, I didn't hit you. I didn't hit you. And then she gets like, she whispers and she say, I didn't hit you hard. I wasn't hitting you hard. Like,
yeah. She's like,
she
you're
gets
not
real loud about the parts that like she wants to be heard.
right.
Can we just talk about why are there so many recordings of them arguing?
Because she's gross.
Psycho.
Why? This is like, I cannot think of a single time, and I've been with my husband 15 years, and of course we've had arguments. I've never recorded one of them.
It's so gross.
Ever.
Like, even the pictures of him like passed out with the ice cream and stuff, like you thought it for like I can't, it's so uncomfortable for me to see this picture that you thought appropriate to take, and then now you're sharing this with the world. Like it's so inappropriate.
That's why I'm saying, like, I feel like this was gonna leak. Those pictures would have been used if he had OD'd accidentally. She would have been able to say, I've been telling you guys that he needed help. You know, if she had witnessed it and didn't get him help, like, I feel like it might have led to something. That's how unstable this woman is, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they talk to each other very poorly. Obviously, what he thinks is normal conversation when calling a woman a cunt, I do not agree with the way that he speaks to her. But I also have, in retrospect, look back, and obviously this is probably how he spoke to her the entire time, because it's kind of how he speaks. Like Isaac even was like, I don't know, he calls me a cunt, so I don't know, it's not really that big of a deal. But I don't appreciate that, and that would cause a very big argument if my husband chose to make that decision. But she dated him, and this is kind of how his terminology and how his vocabulary, how he expresses himself, and she was okay with it. So I struggle with that, but I don't like you have borderline personality disorder. I mean, obviously unless she's actually diagnosed with it and he knows it, then it's just demeaning. They're very demeaning to each other. And I see their relationship being extremely toxic. And So domestic violence has a very broad spectrum of things like that, where, you know, it's not just physical abuse, it is emotional, it is, you know, verbal. So then are they going to go with that they were that way towards each other, so it's okay? Or are they going to say, well, she's the one who actually got physical and take it to the to that level?
I don't know, but I definitely think that she's the one that would get physical.
I agree.
Yeah, I feel like they have both even agreed that even the marriage counselor said that it was physical on both aspects. I feel like that's not what this is really going to be honed in on. I think they're just going to hone in on, was this article that Amber put out detrimental to Johnny? Like, they're, for some reason though, they are going to bring up, you know, did you put your hands on Johnny first? You know, they're really just going to character attack her when she goes up on the stand. And at one point, and I hope they do bring it up, because I found it interesting today, they talked about how she had put that restraining order on Johnny, which was like fake, and like it came out of left field for him. He was kind of like, what the heck, you know, because then she left town after putting the restraining order on him, and so it's kind of pointless that she even took that time to go do that. And then she put out like the news about it right when he was doing his new movie premiere for Alice. But they talked about how the restraining order was in effect, and Amber begged Johnny to come over and talk to her. So when Amber goes up on the stand, they're going to bring up probably the fact that, so you put a restraining order on him, even though you left the country, and then you begged to see him. So they're definitely going to like bring up the validity of even needing that restraining order if she was okay with breaking it. You know what I mean?
Well, what do you think about the fact that he didn't fight the restraining order back in the day?
I don't know. I feel like maybe he was just like knew that they're toxic and he's like, whatever.
I can see that. I think he just wanted to be as far away from her as possible. SoCal Cat Whisperer. We have a new name.
Like there might even be a level of he was reaching for help himself, reaching out in certain ways himself for help with his substance abuse and whatever else. And so when the restraining order was in effect, he's kind of like, okay.
Well, he probably felt well that now she has to stay away from me. Is kind of what I was thinking. Like, well,
yeah,
she can't come within that feet of, you know, that amount of feet of me either. So now maybe she'll leave me the hell alone.
right.
All right, let me see. Somebody said something in chat that I wanted to go back to, and now I don't remember what it was.
You know, also like was this article like defamatory and, you know, necessary? He didn't write an article about her, you know, he didn't go write about his domestic abuse experience. She did. Like, he didn't go defame her on purpose. She went and defamed him on purpose.
Right around the time that #MeToo movement was going on.
So well, yeah, because she could get some momentum, you know, for her career.
Trending. All that matters, like, to these celebrities. Like, it's not just your average person. Like, these celebrities, whatever's trending at that moment, they want in on it. And Amber, they've definitely painted her as being an opportunist and like caring very much about her image and all that.
Let's see. SoCal Cat Whisperer says, I've been watching all week and my opinion has completely changed. Well, SoCal Cat Whisperer, you have to tell me then. Oh, you're behind, so you're not going to tell me this for a while, apparently, but that's okay. When you get to here, I want you to tell me what you thought at first and what you think now and what changed it. Somebody else brings up the ice cream photo and that the ice cream looks very melted already before the picture's even taken. So, like, why has the ice cream been sitting there for so long before she snaps this photo?
Why did she take the photo for? He's obviously not like hitting her. He's not.
No, so here's kind of the thing too, and like they try to say like, so you're passed out in this picture, and he's like, well, you mean like asleep? Like, like my husband like works all day, he passes out at night. He hadn't had a drink all day. You know what I mean? Like that's terminology. It's the same. They keep doing this, then trying to twist like the the context of his wording, like, I got, my finger was chopped off, or like, oh, I chopped my finger off, like, because it's ownership. You know what I mean? Like, they keep trying to take all these things that he says and make them fit how they want them to fit.
Mm-hmm.
And the ice cream thing too is like, oh, so you're passed out. Well, I have a picture of my daughter sleeping in the car, totally passed out. And she's 11. She didn't have anything to drink. You know what I mean? So,
what is the photo going to really do for them? It's like they're grasping at straws. I've seen a lot of people say about her team. And even the fact that, like you said, the text message about I chopped my finger off, like, and they tried to say, like, here, you said that you chopped your finger off. And it's like, yeah, but you could get in a car accident that wasn't your fault. And you might say to somebody in a text, like, when I wrecked my car,
I got in a car accident. It doesn't, it's not taking ownership of the fault. It's taking ownership that this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely try to twist it around. So with the recordings, my issue with all of the recordings comes to, why in the world would you feel the need to sit around and record all of this unless you're going to try to use it against somebody? Why are you taking all these photos?
That's the only
there's
reason.
intent there. Like, why is nobody like saying, like, she obviously intended to use all of this stuff against him at some point?
Embarrass him, humiliate him, blackmail him, use it in divorce court. I mean, she just was having all this stuff accumulated in case she needed it as like warfare.
Literally. And why is there not videos then or audios recorded of him beating the crap out of her?
Have we even seen a photo of these bruises or whatever? Like, people.
She has one. She has one that she says is after he hit her, which is the one that they talk about towards the beginning, where everybody that saw her around that time frame said that she did not have those marks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she also admitted to being like with the makeup artist that was like a magic Harry Potter makeup artist. Like, how complicit are her friends in this with her? Her friend could have easily painted some bruises on.
Right. I wonder if they bring that up.
Well, I don't know if that friend is that friend. I don't know if she's testifying or not. The makeup chick, what was her name? I don't remember. They have so many friends now that I can't even think of which one's which. But yeah. And they said, well, they're asking Isaac, like, well, were you there when she put her makeup on? And he's like, well, no. But I know what a woman looks like when she has makeup on and when she doesn't. Mm-hmm. Like, to cover up those bruises, that would have been some heavy makeup, right?
Yeah.
I would love to see, since she's an expert in this, because this is what they claim, she's an expert in putting on makeup to the level of whatever coloring the bruise is. So as the bruise changes colors, she knows how to put the makeup on. I want them to have her put makeup on bruises.
Me too. I want to mix this. Is that me? Am I echoing? Sorry, guys.
No, I don't hear you echoing.
I want to see her like mix the color palette and like do some color correction on the stand.
It made no sense too about asking Isaac about her makeup and what he sees and has he ever seen her put makeup on, blah, 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 because Isaac was the one that Amber showed her face to him and said, see, he hit me. And so why, if she's showing her face to this man, why did her lawyers turn around and try to say that she uses makeup to cover it up? So could that be why you didn't see the bruises? But he was the one that she said, look. So why would she be showing somebody her bruises that he didn't end up seeing? And if she had like put makeup on to cover them, like it doesn't really make sense.
I think that they should have a bunch of people lined up with different levels of bruises, and let's see what kind of magic she can work. Because I think she's a liar. See, I knew my bias was going to eventually just come forward. Yeah, I think she's a liar. I think that she's an opportunistic liar. And somebody said, make sure to, like, everybody's aware of their age difference. She actually just had a birthday during this trial last week. which ironically happened to be the same day that her hashtag #MePoo movement was trending on Twitter. Was on her birthday.
I've seen so many good memes about the turd in the bed.
Oh gosh, yes.
Disgusting.
That's demented.
I can't even, I don't even have words, man. Like, who does that? Like, who gets so mad that they take a dump on their partner's side of the bed? Not to mention, it's still the bed you sleep in.
That screams drug use, but like from her. Like, what were you on that was a good idea at that time?
And they talk about her liking mushrooms and stuff, and some people do that when they're tripping because it's food poisoning.
Okay, so speaking of tripping and on drugs, most of these recordings, one, I feel like they're very odd to be listening to, just in general. But two, I don't see there's no big, and maybe this is perception because I've been in fights with people in my life, but I don't see anything that's like so outrageously huge that any type of domestic. I mean, this is like screaming matches. It's actually also very, which speaking of the drugs, it seems very drug-induced conversations that are very repetitive and odd. It's just, I'm like, this is you guys fighting? Like,
yeah,
it's a very strange dynamic.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, like, are they drunk or are they both tripping together? Like, because like you said, it's like repeating things over and over, and like, but that, like you said, it's kind of average type of fighting between. You got to remember they got divorced, so this is preceding the divorce, so it sounds like typical toxic relationship that people needed to get away from each other from. Nothing's been really like jaw dropping.
Yeah, I mean, not the recordings anyway. Obviously, the vodka bottle to the finger is very strange, and then he dips his finger in the ink and writes all over things. All of that stuff is it's very strange, but I don't see how this correlates with like anybody really abusing the other, like physically, like going up. The biggest thing on the recording is when she says, he's like something like, "You hit me," or "No, you punched me," and she's like, "I didn't punch you. I didn't punch you. I hit you. I hit you. Stop being such a baby," or whatever. It's like, I don't know the direction of my hand or how my hand was formed at the time or something stupid. And I'm like, either way, okay, that one right there, you're admitting that you hit him.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I think that like with domestic violence victims, like I do know that like, okay, they don't want the person to leave them. So, like that's maybe why she chased them and stuff. But domestic abuse victims like that I've known a couple personally, and it was never like, they never like poked the argument. Like maybe they wouldn't want them to leave and beg them to stay and stuff, but like they didn't go after a fight and then like continually try to fight, knowing that they were gonna be physically hurt at the end of it. Like, well, you haven't hit me yet. Like, let's keep arguing. Like that's just not the.
Normally, you're trying to appease that person so they don't hurt you. I have been fortunate enough in my life; I've never been in a DV situation, so I can't really speak to it. Besides, what I know from other people, but yeah, you wouldn't think that somebody would be pushing the situation, them wanting to leave, and then she's like trying to give him like a time, like I need a time that you're going to return. He's like let me go for 3 minutes, and she's like, no, like that's too long. Like you're not going to be back.
Like somebody was really afraid when it be doing that, in my opinion.
If anything, he's the one who seems afraid, and like the victim, even in just the audios.
Well, the fact that when they would travel, he would book a separate hotel room so that he'd have a place to go escape is a pretty big deal, in my opinion. Like, why would you pre-plan that you're going to get into an altercation and you're going to need to leave?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like she didn't want him to leave her, not just in these fights, but obviously overall. And so every move she's made since then has been to like show him like you screwed up. You're going to regret
Yeah.
leaving me. I'm going to make your life a living hell, and you're going to regret it.
Yeah, I feel like she wanted to destroy him on any level she could.
You're a pooping liar. Small says she's a pooping liar. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Johnny's comedy. Do we have any of those clips? Because those clips, my husband, obviously, because we were on vacation, so we were driving a lot, and I'm playing this, and so he's listened to most of it with me.
I pulled up some TikToks.
Okay, so I'm like, I would start laughing, and he's like, what happened? Like, what's going on? And so today, during the trial, if you guys watch today's, there's like a point where Johnny says something, and then the courtroom actually kind of erupts in laughter, and the judge has to like lay it down, like, order in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's so bad that like everybody's just joking around and having a good old time, and this is like a big old serious $150 million that nobody seems to really care about, and I'm like, shit, give me the $150 million. But still, I laugh at all of his stuff because I find him very entertaining.
And that's you in the video, Mr. Depp, right?
Oops, sorry.
Oh, you don't have it on the screen.
Oh, okay.
I'm excited to see these.
Yeah, I just have TikTok pulled up. You want me to go up now?
Yeah, you can go. Yeah, do it. And then I think that Missy had a few that she dropped in chat too. If we can find a couple of those.
And that's you in the video, Mr. Depp, right?
That's correct.
Texted. I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of texts today.
It's all right. I did take someone yesterday.
You gave quite a bit of testimony in that trial, right?
Judge that myself. It felt like a lot.
You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
Did I read that right?
You certainly did, yes, sir.
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Did I read that right?
You continue to read them right. You should just stay with that.
Right, but you,
you'd
but
have to
you, it
accept
came from you. The term
unless
came
you
from
wanted
you.
to argue.
Sometimes drink whiskey in the mornings too, right?
Isn't happy hour anytime?
We're gonna fast forward in time a little bit, Mr. Depp.
Feel it.
You poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint.
With respect, trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time. That was not my question. My question
I
was simply,
understand when
you
you
would
take
agree.
5 minutes to look for a
You would agree. And on line 11, are you there? Do you have the document up?
Online?
No, I'm sorry. Is it in your hand? Okay, great. And that's you in the video, Mr. Depp, right?
That's correct.
Texted. I'm sorry. We've seen a lot of texts today.
It's all right. I did take someone yesterday.
I think it's replaying it.
You get quite a bit of testimony right in that trial, right?
Oh.
You probably have more too.
He's a character. I mean,
He
that's
is
I love the
absolutely a
one where
character.
he was like, "Can you read that again?" When it was that text.
Oh, I think I might have that one. Or Missy said.
texts. Oh my god.
When he's reading the text and it's like something about her throat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta find out. Do you have that one?
I don't know. I think it might be on this one. Let's try.
Okay.
Do you have a drinking problem, Johnny?
Objection. Culture hearsay.
I was drinking.
You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
Ask you a different question, Mr. Depp.
Yes. Let's let him object to another one.
The old vintage motherfucker you went for, dumbass. Did I read that right?
I was signing off as dumbass.
And then, did I read that right?
You really did.
I read that right, correct?
You did.
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that right?
No.
Other
Go
than
away, coach. Done. Hup. Done. Amber, so
Mr.
I
Depp,
doubled up
with respect,
the,
trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time. That was not my question. My question was
I
simply,
understand when you
would
take 5
agree.
minutes to look for a
You would
document.
agree. You would agree. Poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint.
Yeah. And then you write, I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury. I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury.
Sorry, could you read that again? Do you have a drinking problem, John?
I mean, like, what else can you do but make jokes at certain points, you know?
I love it that he's like, can you read that again?
Oh, that wasn't even the worst of the text. I mean, it's. Oh,
Well, I just thought that one was funny because he's purposely trying to be like, yeah, see, I have nothing to do to hurt her. It's just because that's my wife and I have other thoughts in mind for her throat.
And
right.
the mega pint. A mega
So,
pint.
do you have the clip from today? I think it's in the chat if you can pull that one up because this one is funny just because it's the lawyers being idiots. But
Which one?
hold on, I'm gonna send it to you. Let me find it.
Yeah, I mean, the clip is amazing just because they zoom in on Johnny's reaction too. And he's cracking up.
Let me find it real quick. Hold on.
A mega pint.
It's a mega pint. There's a couple of them.
Oh, I didn't see this one. This is one of the ones Brandy sent.
Is it playing? You're playing it on your end, but it's not playing for us. We just see your screen.
Oh, shoot. Darn it. Okay. I'm over here cracking up.
She's like sitting over there and she's just having a good old laugh all by herself. She's like, this shit's
It was
funny.
a funny one. Which one are you sending me?
I know. I sent you a couple of them.
Okay.
He's like, you continue to read them correctly. So I was signing off as his dumbass.
He's hilarious.
Oh, Donna, that's what the one that he says that they're like, were you doing like drugs with Marilyn Manson? And he's like, well, like we had some drinks together, you know, and I think we had like maybe a couple lines of coke together at one point, and then the guy's like, pills. He's like, I did give Marilyn Manson a pill to get him to quit talking.
I find it interesting too because Marilyn Manson is tied into a lot of that bad publicity, like James Franco too, at the moment.
Right.
So they kept mentioning like, and you were with Marilyn Manson. They kept name dropping Marilyn Manson, and it was so random. But their whole point is to kind of associate Johnny with him closely because of how bad Marilyn Manson's reputation right now. Like he's being sued too by Hollywood actresses and ex-girlfriends.
But here's the see, I'm going to say it. The Me Too movement, really, men do not have anything. They have no legs to stand on in Hollywood right now. And so anybody who comes forward with anything about anybody is questionable, in my opinion. And I don't think that all of them are exaggerating and lying, but I do think that there's a lot of circumstances that these women are coming forward because, like you mentioned earlier, that it is a trending thing and they want to be a part of it. But at what point does it just become abusing it?
Yeah, I just think it's interesting. Her team was like trying to like name drop him closely to Johnny Depp, and I think it's because they're trying to like subtly be like, oh, so these are the type of people you hang out with because of the accusations that Marilyn Manson's facing now. So I was just thinking it was like a cheap shot.
I agree. And what do you think the conversation's like between Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson? Like, hey, bro, like I'm gonna have to go and testify at this, defamation thing, and some drug stuff's gonna come out, and all this gonna include you. And so, like, how do you I don't know, how does that work out? Like, how do you have that conversation?
I feel like it's just like normal to Marilyn Manson at this point. I feel like their relationship is about music. But maybe he's like, yeah, I got to distance myself from you for a little bit, buddy. Sorry. I don't know.
Probably. They're probably like, okay, I don't think we're allowed to be friends anymore.
Which is like their relationship is, you know, whatever. They're just friends. Like you can't control what your friends do. You know what I mean? Especially because the accusations were decades ago. But her team is trying to bring all that up, like making it seem like him and Marilyn are like BFFs, and I don't even think they're that close.
No, I think they just have a friendship. I mean, just a regular, like, you know, it's not somebody he's hanging out with all the time, but they're real cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine having to have that, like, hey, Christine, so, you know, I'm going to go testify and all this drug stuff's going to come up. You know, like Christine be like, fuck you.
No, I got your back. It's gonna happen.
Okay, you'd probably be like, yep, that's how it went. That's how it went. But I'm just saying, like, how, like, it would just be crazy to, like, have these conversations with these other famous people who you're literally going to be throwing out there. And who knows if they have, like, see, for him, I think it's almost healing because he's in recovery. It's part of healing. You know, you're talking about it and telling the stories. But for some of these others who aren't, like, I wonder if they're going to be friends after this.
Do you want to play this clip because my computer freaks out?
Yeah, I can't hit play or anything. Can you do it or no?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And then he showed me a photograph on his telephone of
Objection, Your Honor. False hearsay.
It's a photograph, Your Honor.
As being relayed to him by Mr. Depp.
He says he looked at it on his phone.
I'll overrule the objection as the photograph.
What was the photograph of Mr. Depp?
it was a photograph of the bed, our bed, and on my side of the bed, was human fecal matter. So I understood why it wasn't a good time to go down there. And she tried to blame it on the dogs. But
Why didn't you think it could have been the dogs?
the dogs weigh, they're teacup Yorkies. They weigh about 4 pounds each.
Danish girls. She's there, and he claims that he was just sitting there calmly, and she was haranguing him, testifying about this finger injury and how fantastic this version is. You'll see the pictures of all of this. You'll see the pictures of the hair. Imagine how much that must hurt. He was in New York. She texted him and said, "Johnny beat me up really good this time. Can you?"
Rocky's boyfriend, who was some sort of chef, he asked her what she would like for him to cook. That's hearsay, I guess.
I know, just assert himself into the truth of the matter asserted.
He got it.
Okay, all right, well then.
I'm learning.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of hearsay, now you got to play the clip that because hearsay is the whole thing from the objection today. It's the Rakita Law one. I think I sent you that one. You guys are muted, so you guys can't hear me talk. You guys, oh, you can hear me. You're muted, so you can't hear me. Dumb. I need another Dr. Pepper, apparently.
Yes.
You're not informed as to.
Oh, okay.
That's not on the screen.
I'm coming.
I'm coming. Attorney today objects to his own question. I can't. I'm dead. I hadn't. The girls were talking about it in the chat, and I hadn't got to that part yet, so they sent me the clip of it.
Okay.
What caused damage to Mr. Depp's hand on finger on March 8th? Objection.
Can you guys hear it okay?
That's what he wasn't told. Objection reversed, say. You didn't know what
rewind it because it wasn't on the screen.
and while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me
Oh wait.
The clip was it was clipped. So did you?
What is the time that the clip happens at?
If you just go back to your messages and click right on that clip, it'll start it right where it's at.
Then I have to share. Okay, one sec.
I need to go get a mega pint of Dr. Pepper is what I need to get.
Okay, I have it paused right there.
I just love Johnny's reaction, and it's hilarious. But so chat was just saying, which I had no idea, that Marilyn Manson was Johnny's son's godfather.
His sons or his daughters?
One of his children's godparent.
Missy was saying that there. I saw that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
That is interesting, you know, because obviously they're closer. But on the same hand, like I feel like, in like Smalls mentioned, noticed how they didn't use Marilyn Manson's government name, which is what, Brian something.
Yeah.
And
they do it once, and that's it.
Yeah, that whole reasoning is, like I've been saying, they're trying to make Johnny guilty by association, but I think that his reputation is solid, in my opinion. Like, I just think that his approval has been really well so far. Even though, you know, Amber hasn't even gone up there yet, I just feel like they can try to discredit Johnny, but ultimately Amber's own actions are gonna just bury her, I think.
Yeah, I don't see how she's gonna get on that stand and not purge herself or have to tell the truth and it come out in any form of like she's the, you know, the saint in this relationship.
Yeah.
All right.
You were there. You were not informed as to what caused damage to Mr. Depp's finger on March 8th. Objection, hearsay. Asking what he wasn't told.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
Objection reverse, hearsay. You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he sustained an injury on one of his fingers.
Objection, hearsay.
Wait, you asked the question.
You don't know what caused the injury.
Idiot.
One of his fingers.
You don't know what caused. You don't know
Is Depp laughing there?
The attorney's reaction.
time you were there. You were not informed as to
I love it.
what caused damage to Mr. Depp's finger on.
Watch the attorney when he realizes that he's the one who asked the question.
Asking what he wasn't told.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
How's he supposed to testify to what he wasn't told?
You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he sustained an injury on one of his fingers.
Objection, hearsay.
Wait, you asked the question.
Jonathan's laughing.
You don't know what caused the injury.
Idiot.
One of his fingers.
I can't. That cracks
And that sums up Amber's team, I feel. Far. I mean, they need to turn it around if they want. I mean, not that I want her side to win, but if we're trying to be like a little unbiased, like, they got a lot of making up to do, in my opinion.
All right. Well, did you see the clip? I don't remember what chat that was in now. I think that Missy might have sent her, or Brandy did. One of them. Somebody found that her attorney was hanging out like outside of like a movie premiere, like trying to get like Johnny's attention. Like, so the whole clip is that.
Oh yeah, I played that one. That was on that TikTok.
Her attorney. Oh, you did? Where she's standing outside like years ago?
Yeah.
I
Showed it.
I missed that in there. Yeah, so she's like standing outside, like waiting for him, like she was a fan of his. Like, oh god, the whole team is a mess, man. I don't know. Somebody was like, Elon should have paid for a better attorney team.
So she's still friends with Elon and James Franco.
I don't.
I
I have.
guess.
Missy, where are you? Tell us. Oh, Missy says it didn't show in that one, Christine.
Oh, maybe that was the one I just watched by myself.
It probably was.
It was funny, guys.
Yeah, you should show that. She's like, oh yeah, I totally watched that. I didn't show it to
It
you
was
guys,
real
but I
funny.
watched it.
Okay. Okay, I found it. Hold on.
It's super quick.
Yeah. Hold on. Okay, there it is. Ah. Theresa, stop pressing buttons. All right.
I'm dead.
Right?
Oh my. I love the internet.
It's like, Johnny, over here, Johnny. I need your
Oh.
signature.
My, that is priceless.
What did you guys hear a rumor going around today? And I have not had time to look into it, so maybe somebody in chat or one of you guys knows that. Yeah, it's an older video, not from the trial. Correct, BR the Star. That one of her attorneys had actually quit.
Yeah, I heard that rumor.
What's
Really?
it about?
I couldn't get the source or the info on it. I just seen some like clickbait something, and then like I think I even clicked on it and it didn't give me like answers. I don't know.
Was it like, yeah, because that's kind of how I felt too. Like, was it, I couldn't really get the story. Like, was it somebody that's on her current team? Is it somebody who quit prior to going into this trial? I couldn't understand it. Her first team quit, I heard. Yeah, I couldn't figure out. So I was hoping somebody was going to be able to tell me what the heck that was.
Everyone in court today seemed like the same people, is what I noticed. Like, I didn't see any difference in team, so I didn't know if maybe that was referring to her prior team, maybe.
Maybe. They made that, it was obviously very clickbaity because it made me think like that they quit like today.
Yeah. I didn't see anything like explaining further than the title of that.
Jen Lee says, did she spit on her attorney? No, that's just her. That's just her assistants she spits on.
Right.
Today, I think it was today's, right? That her attorney objects and Johnny thanks him. Did you see that part?
No, I mean, probably the thing is I like listen when I'm like walking the stroller, so sometimes I see or
so
something.
Yeah, so he's like, thank you, Mr. Rotten Bum or whatever he calls him. And the judge is like, all right, just only address your counsel, like just
said just addressed his lawyers. Yep. Now I know what you're talking about. That was funny. The judge is, you know, she's doing her best, like to keep things, because like you said, it can get a little theatrical in there.
Well, do you think that the judge is biased because she's a female?
No. I've gotten very fair vibes from the judge. In fact, I've seen her be. I've almost gotten protective vibes from the judge on Johnny's reputation at times. Like, one example was, I think it was the first day they did the cross-examination of Johnny on the stand, and his her team was cross-examining him and said something about, isn't it true that during this time you were extremely unhappy and felt like you hadn't accomplished the things that you wanted to accomplish thus far in your career in life? And like Johnny was just kind of like didn't know how to answer right away, kind of like thrown back by like the accusation or whatever, and his team, I think, objected to it. And then the judge was like, I think we'll take our break. And then they never like picked back up on it or whatever. And it was like, I felt like the judge like took that break at that moment because like that question was just so much just trying to, it was like, how can you even say that everything that he's done in 30 years he wasn't happy with at that point? I don't know. It was just like a really weird question. And I just felt like the judge was protecting his reputation at that point and took the break.
Well, yeah, and like he's gonna have to talk about like how he felt about his career at certain different points. I don't know if I could do that, of how I felt about my career over years. And somebody said like, well, so back in like 2015, like how did you feel about your career? You know what I mean? Like I don't think I could answer that question. Did you feel like you accomplished everything you were supposed to accomplish? Like, well, no, because I'm not dead. You know, so I don't know. Like, obviously, there's still, I don't know. That's a complicated question to begin with, but her attorneys seem to get called out quite a bit for their compound questions, and you know, I think that was her attorney's favorite is hearsay, but I think that Johnny's was compound questions.
Yeah, I feel like her team is even pulling some shady stuff too. Like today, I'd done like a little clip video of it, but like they played some audio recording, and afterwards, her lawyer was like, "And you heard her say, 'Get off me,' right?" or something along the lines.
Right? Yeah.
And he was like, "I couldn't hear," and it's like, how could anybody have heard that? But the way that the lawyer like threw it out there, that it was like a matter of fact. And then like, even though it got like an objection, I think it was still, it was moved on really quickly, but it was already laid out there. Like, you heard that, right? And it's kind of like, no, like, and people in my comment section are saying that they don't hear "Get off me."
I didn't hear "Get off me."
I didn't.
I don't know where they're coming up with that, but did you notice how they played like so many audio clips like back to back to back without even saying anything in between them?
Yeah, I was kind of like, what are they trying to focus on?
Yeah, it was like Missy saying in the chat, like it was like rapid fire, like of hate of the recordings of him. But you know, I think they were trying. That was like their last finale of, we're gonna make him look like crap the best we can. So we're just gonna play all this crap back to back and talk about every hit piece that's ever happened to him since the 1980s.
Yeah, like at one point he was screaming, calling her a stupid F. And it's like, what's the relevance here? Like, they're arguing. We get it. They argued.
Right. But she's almost, in my opinion, once again, she's actually meaner to him with the things that she says. Like I said, you know, I don't like the fact that he calls her the names that he calls her, but in context, that's how he speaks to most of the people in his life. So then you kind of have to wash that. But I don't like, she's talking like he's an old fat man, he's all washed up, he's a terrible dad. Like the stuff about his kids, I was like, dude, you're a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nikki, I think they were throwing shit against the wall just to see what stuck. There was no context to any of it. They didn't let him respond to any of it. And that's the other big thing about all of these recordings is, if you notice, that they're playing like 30-second clips from here to here. And obviously the whole thing is going into evidence, but I can't imagine the jury's not going to want to sit there and listen to the whole thing, because I've said this since I've been in true crime. Context matters. I can show you screenshots and make up whatever the hell story I want to. I could play an audio clip of something and make up whatever I want to go along with it. But context is important. There's like, what was this conversation? Why did it lead to this? And even the fact that he does call people the C word all the time, that's important to know, because if you only hear him calling her that and not knowing that he calls all of his friends that via text messages and whatever else, you get upset with him for saying it.
Yeah. And as much as text messages can be very damning in court, like you said, context matters. And the fact that they're trying to pull in these like, well, you said here in this text, and it's like, yeah, but what was everything being talked about? Like, I just feel like they haven't done a very good job, even with text message evidence, to kind of they're trying their best, but it's just not enough. Nothing is sticking, I feel. Like I would be very surprised if Johnny doesn't win. But at the same time, he's already done up on the stand, and there's how many weeks left?
Well, we're in what, week 2, 3? What are we in? Is this the beginning of the 3rd week? I don't even freaking know anymore. I think it's the beginning of the 3rd week. And it's supposed to be 7 weeks long.
I just hope public opinion doesn't sway after she goes up there, because she's going to act, in my opinion.
But she's not a good actress. But this is like the biggest role of her life.
If public opinion shifts, it won't be because of her. It would be because of her witnesses. So the day that her attorney started bringing the kids into it, do you remember? And they were like, is it true that your kids, said that you weren't really around until Miss Heard came around or whatever? I got so angry that day, like, leave them out of it. Like, what does this have to do? Like, why even bring the children into it?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that hearsay?
They tried to do that again today about Lily Rose, his daughter, and they were like, and it's true that Lily Rose was upset that you were drinking or something like that, and they were like, hearsay. But it's once they say it, the idea has already been thrown out there for the jury to hear. So they've already made it painted that but at the same time, like we've said before, he's not denying that he doesn't have substance abuse issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and his children are, and I think every family has somebody that's in their close vicinity that has some type of addiction that they've, witnessed or been through. I would think that anybody's children that's witnessing their parent go through it, it's not going to be easy. So I don't know why his daughter having an issue with it would be why is that relevant?
Right. That's what they're just grasping at straws, as everyone keeps saying.
So it's obviously he's the plaintiff and she's the defense, and he's suing her for defamation. So at this point, it's his team that has to prove that she defamed him in this 2018 op-ed piece. And even if she doesn't mention him, but it's absolutely inferred through the whole thing if you haven't read it. I think anybody who pays attention to Hollywoody type relationships and stuff knows that it was him. But more importantly, obviously Disney and Fantastic Beasts, they knew it was him. And so have they proven that she defamed him? Because I think a lot of it is going to be public opinion, and I think that it is going to be in his favor at the end. But when it comes to actually winning a case, I think I might agree with SoCal Cat Whisperer over here that I don't know if anybody's going to win.
I just think that regardless of who wins, like, he's done his.
Yes, I was just gonna say, it's just like you said earlier in the stream.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting his side out there.
Yeah, so Steph brings up a good point. All her team is doing right now is trying to defame him on the stand. They're actually, in my opinion, they're trying to get him to defame himself because they don't want the answers. At the very first, when her attorney very first started questioning Johnny Depp says something like, well, we're here for the truth. And I don't remember the context around it, but he says something like, we're here for the truth. And her attorney's like, yeah, we are. Like, we are here for the truth. But you can tell in his questioning, he does not give two shits about the truth. If he did, there would be longer answers from Johnny. There would be better questions that actually, that attorney is not there for any truth. And this is one of those, like, did you guys pick up on that? Because, like, I feel like if people picked up on that, then the jury picked up on it.
Truth that her team is showing us his substance abuse issues, and we already know that.
Yeah, they did a great job proving he was a drug addict, alcoholic.
But at the same time, they're going to try and say that's what ruined his career.
Right. They're trying to say that that's why he's out, that Disney dropped him. was because
And I
of the
just
drugs and
don't
alcohol.
think that I just think that Hollywood uses people who have substance abuse problems all the time, and they use them up for every dime and everything that they can get from them. They don't care. We've seen it over and over. They don't care about celebrities having problems. They just want to use them. So
Right.
I do not think that, you know, people would drop him because he was getting drunk or he was using opioids. Like, I just don't think that the jury, I mean, I hope that the jury sees that also, but
The other
Regardless
thing
if
is
he wins or
he was
loses,
an addict.
like it'll be interesting to see like next year, like does he get recast in the final Pirates, you know, or like does he get put back into the Beasts movie, or you know, like
Well, they already recast him in the Fantastic Beasts movie. He's got that role's already been given to somebody else.
and
And
he already
Pirates
said he's
is still
done. He's
Pirate. Well, he says with
going
Pirates,
back.
what did he say? That
He
he
said he's
wouldn't
never going
go
back.
back for 300 million and 300 alpacas.
Yeah, because they should have had his back ultimately before dropping him and making it this huge thing. Pretty much, he said.
maybe he'll
Okay,
bring
so
back
if they
Edward
come out
Scissorhands.
with a Pirate 6 and Johnny Depp is not in it, are you gonna watch it?
I haven't watched any of them that he
I think the last one I saw was like the first one.
You guys
I've,
see?
I've only watched the ones with him in it.
Yeah,
Well, he's been in 1 through 5. So have you watched?
the ride alone at Disney World and Disneyland, the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, which is what the movies are based on, like because that ride was there first.
Did
Right.
they take him out?
No, they're iconic. I love them. Like they're just, yeah, it's the theme and everything I love. I mean, it's just wasn't after I watched the first one. I think it's just there's not enough romance in it for me.
Uh-huh.
There's not enough romance in Pirates.
Like,
Well, Disney
Johnny's
take notes.
not in a romantic, like his character Jack Sparrow isn't really in like a romantic relationship like in the movies.
Well, no, but you have like Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley that are.
Yeah,
They have some romance.
But I'd rather see Edward Scissorhand and have Edward
Yeah.
be like.
Maybe they'll bring back Edward Scissorhands.
Like Jen Lee says that she bets like Tim Burton would cast him again. I think so too, and I think that he's probably going to have some offers that are on the table.
Yeah, if he
because I think
loses
people
and
are
his
gonna root for
career
him.
has a comeback, then he didn't really lose.
Right.
Well, I think that's once again, I think that's the whole point of this to begin with. But is that he does not want his children having a father who is labeled a wife beater.
Now, in that regard, though, who's going to go watch Amber Heard's next movie?
Well, I'll be honest, I never even watched Aquaman.
Oh no, I never saw that.
Yeah, nope.
But
Hi,
yes,
Barb.
I love the movie Blow.
I love all the Pirates movies. I love Johnny Depp.
And Tim Burton, I mean, Sweeney Todd. Johnny sings in that.
I mean, I watched him back to like 21 Jump Street days.
Have you seen Cry Baby?
Oh my gosh, yes, I've seen Cry Baby. Love that movie.
Me too.
I absolutely love that movie.
Remember Hatchet Face on it?
Oh yeah, I have a couple memes I've made of her.
Oh my god!
I'll have to send those. You'll have to dig for them and send them to you. You'll laugh at who I compare her to.
I have so many things running through my head right now of who.
No one watches Aquaman for age. Come on. You haven't seen the pirate movies in years. Okay, well that's fair, but you have seen them. So I've watched the first one. I can't even tell you how many times. And then we have like a weird thing like in the family, like we'll pick like a series, like some type of franchise movie, and we'll just sit and watch like the whole thing. One of our favorites is John Wick, but that's neither here nor there. And another one is Pirates of the Caribbean. So we'll watch like over like a spring break or something. We'll just sit there and watch all of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely my brother always liked pirates. Like he definitely was Jack Sparrow a few times for Halloween.
Seriously?
Yeah, and I had to do his eyeliner.
So there's no way they can recast Johnny Depp. So I think that's why the movie's going to be stuck at a standstill, because there's no way somebody else can play Captain Jack. It's just not possible. So they'd have to do a movie without him. And they've done movies without some of the other major characters, and they've done fine, but they still had Captain Jack. I just don't, unless they're going to do like a prequel, that's the only thing I could come up with that they could actually pull off to be able to, like, quote unquote, recast a Jack Sparrow, would just be a younger version.
That'd be interesting.
So, but like he said on the stand, he was like, I think that, the characters need some form of closure. Amanda Zavita, you have never seen the pirate movies.
Wow.
I see. You got to watch the pirate movies.
The K-Wise one, or I'm not sure how to say their name, but said a good comment earlier. It said, "And why would anyone believe any guitarist would cut their own finger? Don't believe that for a minute."
1000% agree. And not to mention, he is a right-handed person.
Right.
He's dominant right hand. So if he was going to cut his own finger, he would have cut his left hand, because he's cutting with his right hand. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He would not have cut his own finger. That's the stupidest thing in the whole world to even think of. Like, I'm going to go cut my right finger just so they blame her for it. Like, no. His story actually makes more sense, that he tried to lie to cover it up so people didn't know what was happening in his personal life, because all these doctors are going to sell that shit to somebody eventually. He knows that. He lives it.
Right. That what to me, and though I feel like they didn't really like emphasize that. Like, isn't it true that you told this because you have to? I mean, I guess they sort of touched on having to keep things from the press, but that hopefully, I think the jury will see. Celebrities do have to keep things on some sort of level of like, it's okay for them not to tell the whole truth in certain aspects, like doctor visits. Because they were still married, and it's kind of like some people in DV situations, they don't know if they're going to break up. So,
Well, and also, that goes out to the public, and then now everybody knows all your own personal inside shit that you don't want all these people to know. It's why you have all this security. It's why you have these big houses with these big yards. You know what I mean? Like, so that they're not following you around all the time. Benny and June, that was a good one too. That was a good movie. He's been in some really good stuff.
yeah, he's donated to children's hospitals. Like, he's not who Amber's team is trying to paint him as. I think that his problems are a very small portion. Like, they're trying to paint his entire life a certain way when it's really a few years that were like terrible with this woman.
Right. And he's had like some major ups and downs, with his addiction, which is a fairly common thing when it comes to addiction. So it's not surprising. But I do actually believe that he went into this huge spiral of drug abuse and alcohol to escape what he was being reminded of his childhood. I buy the story.
Yeah, and I think that like it's going to be hard for them to try to say like you're the cause of your career ending so he had these problems with drugs for a long time, like even as a teen, like that's when things kind of started for him. So why all of a sudden would the success rate that he had, I mean, he seemed to have been a functioning abuser for a long time, like of substances.
Yep. And nobody had a problem hiring him then.
Exactly.
And I don't think that you go like your whole life, like your whole adult life, in numerous relationships, and then suddenly you're an abuser, like a physical abuser. Like all of his previous relationships, all those women like come forward, like that doesn't sound like the Johnny we know.
Can we talk about the photograph? That looks completely staged to me, with the whiskey glass, the 3 or 4 lines of Coke, her water bottle. Do you know what photograph I'm talking about?
Do you have it by
I
any?
do. I'm gonna send it to Christine because I don't have it on my computer. I only have it on my.
I've tried my best to screenshot pictures throughout this, but
I have the TMZ one. That's the It's
I'm not putting
unfiltered
that
of
up.
his unfiltered of his finger.
Nope.
You're not putting that one.
No. Don't even send it to me.
I think I already have.
I didn't look at it. That's like the biggest trigger. I can't look at stuff like that.
I'm gonna send it to you in the mix of all of these. I didn't send it. I didn't send it. I didn't do it. That's not the unfiltered one. That's the side view. It's not a big deal. And then there's the ice cream one if you want that one too. You can hear all of these coming through on her phone or on her computer. So yeah, that first one. That's the one that I believe is very staged.
And
you want to see it, Jen? I'll send it to you right now.
What do you think
Send
about
me the
her wanting him to get a tattoo of her name?
I think she felt like she owned him.
Yeah. She's just very controlling too.
He
So
has a lot of tattoos, and I think that he didn't use that excuse to get another tattoo. I mean, he has all these tattoos, but definitely not that one.
Oh, and I got special requests for the picture that you don't want to see.
I'm not putting it up.
You don't have to put it up.
I can't look at things like that. It really just bothers me. And when that happened during the trial, I literally put my hand over the screen.
Can you put up the picture of the staged photo though?
Yeah, I'm grabbing it right now.
Oh, okay.
but yeah, you can send that finger one to the chat with me.
Heck yeah, I am. I'm doing it right now. I can post it in the Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, unless it gets flagged, but who cares?
I was like, that's what I was wondering. Will it get flagged? Because it is it's not. The other ones all have like a blurry thing over it.
Interesting.
This one's gross though. It's like the unedited, but it's got the TMZ stamp on it, so I also don't want to show it because of that. Because then they'll probably come for me.
I hear they are sticklers.
There, I sent it in there too.
Everyone in chat is like, will you send it to me?
Yeah, hold on. Who else wants it? I'll put it in the group too. Yeah, he had Vanessa's name tattooed on him, so she wanted him to do hers. But the thing is once again, that woman is always going to be a part of his life. She's the mother of his children. So it also, even if you regret like the relationship, you're not going to regret that she's the mother of your children. So you kind of luck out there. So this is the photo, and I don't have the clip of when he talks about this little box over here, but it's hilarious because he talks about this is your little box, the little pirate box on the right that you used to carry your cocaine around in. And he's like, no, I didn't. You know, it looks like it could fit some cocaine. But normally you carry cocaine in like baggies, because if you just carried it in a box like that, it's just gonna leave a whole white line behind you, because it's just gonna start falling out.
Oh my gosh.
So this water bottle right here, this infinity water bottle that's in the back, that's hers. That's her purse. That's all her stuff. And like how he talked about, like she would always have like stuff ready for him when he would get like back from a set. They don't even spell whiskey right. Can I just say that out loud? But whatever.
4 lines of cocaine. How do we know that that's what that is?
Well, yeah, it could be baking soda. You have no idea. And that's why his response is, well, I'm not in this picture.
Right. What relevance of it? They really are reaching so hard.
It seems to me like this is what she sets up for him, like, and then he's going to come home. Because why else do you have a picture of this? If he sits down with his glass of whiskey and his 4 lines of cocaine, why isn't he sitting there? 1, why is he not in the picture? And then 2, why is the cocaine still there?
You guys see this little straw?
Yeah.
Where?
Is that a tampon applicator?
Yes, that's what I was just going to say. That's a tampon.
So why would
That's a
Johnny
tampon tube.
know that trick? That is a woman trick who uses cocaine.
Yeah, that's a tampon tube.
Oh, whiskey is the Scottish and Canadian spelling? Is it really? Is it then it has to be Scottish or Canadian whiskey?
They should ask like one of his like friends, like, what did you guys use when you were doing cocaine? And like get them to say like a rolled up pill. Did you ever use a tampon tube?
Yeah, that's really
That's
weird.
Crazy.
And who's sitting around just taking like, oh, look at what I'm about to get into. I'm about to get into some whiskey and some cocaine with my little box in Amber's purse.
It's messed up too because she wanted him sober, but she wouldn't get sober.
No, I don't think she thought she had a problem.
Right.
That's why half of those arguments, they sound stupid to me. I'm just like, it's like a drug-induced half-ass argument that I feel like they're both half passed out on the couch or something. Like, don't leave. No, I'm going to leave. No, you got to stay here. No, you can't leave me. Yeah, it's like, what?
That finger picture is bad, Theresa.
I told you.
Like from a bottle. How do you, like, honestly, without being biased, forget that it's Johnny Depp. That happened from a bottle?
Well, it smashed the end of his finger off. So as he had it like sitting on the side of the bar, the bottle basically smashed all the bones in the end of his finger, and as it smashed, it cut the tip off.
Okay,
So it's smushed like that because of the impact.
Right, because once the bone is crushed, then it's just the tissue. So the glass would have severed it. Okay. That is wow.
Right, but that's why you see it's flat, because that's why the guy's like, no, you did not slam this like an accordion doors. That would not happen.
Yeah, that literally looks like a hot dog that somebody cut the tip off of. And with a bunch of ketchup.
You want to see it, you know you do.
No, I don't. I can't. You guys,
You don't see it here, but you do see where this is another big point of contention that I have in that picture is up by his face, right on the right side of his face. You see, this is where he says she put a cigarette out on his face.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, you can.
And then you hear in these audios where she's like, you don't put your cigarettes out. You dropped a cigarette on me. And, you did this. It's almost like she's recording things and then saying random ass shit.
Yeah.
To make it seem like he is abusing her. Or the one recording where she says that the guy ends up coming in, but he's in the kitchen, but the guy says he can hear her yelling, get off of me, get off of me. But he's in the kitchen. He's not even in the room where she's at.
Yeah.
So it's almost like half the crap that she's recording is like is literally for her own purposes to be like, this, oh yeah, he put a cigarette out on me. No, you did. Like, where's your picture with your cigarette burn? Because I could see it on his face.
And that's crazy that he's supposed to be detoxing. And then when you have an injury like this, he would have obviously needed pain relief. So how frustrating.
Yeah, he's going to want something. But then they got mad because they're like, were you asking for like cocaine and pills and stuff? Like right after you did this? So this is some of his writings from the Mirror. I think that he actually did this one in the upstairs master bedroom. And he's like, call Carly Simon. She said it better.
Yeah, for the You're So Vain song, which I love that song. But yeah, their relationship is obviously there's a reason why it didn't work out.
Yeah, because she's crazy. All right, did we miss any other big points that because there's so much that's happened. That's why I'm like, I have to talk about this. I cannot wait till this is over to talk about this.
Well, I found it interesting how he kept insisting that the article that originally was put out there, like the title or whatever, wasn't the one that because you know how they'll go back in and it'll say like updated on whatever, like when you guys start. So
yeah.
Did you guys hear him say this wasn't the original?
Yep.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
What is that about?
Something about what I caught was like the original went out online, because he was arguing with that guy. Is like this the online one, or is this the printed one, or like I'm not sure what I'm, which one is this, the first version? And I don't know. I've not read multiple versions, so I don't know what version I've read. But did they change any of the context, like, or the information that's in there? He says they changed the name of it because they didn't want to get in trouble. But then, of course, the other attorneys like, objection, that's hearsay.
Yeah, the one that like the main one is the title was like, I spoke out against domestic, or I spoke out about, it said sexual, I thought sexual assault or something, or sexual violence. And
yeah, what's that about?
Because
yeah, I sent that to you as in our chat, Theresa.
Okay, let me go look at it. I gotta send a finger pic. Hold on.
That's the one that it says is I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath.
Yeah.
That has to change. So is that the original one that he's pretty much suing for, or is that the edited one?
That was not the title of the one they were talking about today. The one they were talking about today was the one with the different title, but I don't remember what it was.
So is the original title the one that says I spoke up against sexual violence?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, that's why I've been wondering. I'm like, what SV incident?
Yeah, I don't know of any.
So okay. I think that's the original, yeah.
Missy, what's the new one then? What's the new title? That's the quote. So what's the new title then? That's the original. That's not what they're talking about in court. So they had to have changed it to not say sexual violence, because that's not what the article is. Yeah, they met on the set of Rum Diary. I thought it was like 2000 and yeah, it was like probably 2009-ish. You're right. And then they kissed. They kiss in the movie.
Yeah.
And they had some sparks. And then she went back to his trailer, and I believe they kissed again off screen. And then they didn't see each other until the movie was released, until the premiere party.
Well, he said something on the stand about the day that they had kissed or whatever. They had been. It seemed to me like they were in one of their trailers, like on set, and that's when like things started.
Well, somebody sent me a link to the article again, but I don't know. I don't know what it was changed to.
And they won't. Yeah, I don't know what it was changed to, but it's very interesting that her team kept saying, so this article, blah, blah, and he's like, kept reiterating that wasn't the article that he had seen or whatever. It's like the fact that her team is showing the edited one, it's like, I guess they got to try that angle, but it's just.
But like, where would they get that? I mean, where would they get the original sexual violence title from, if not from her?
Because he said he hadn't seen that second one until his trial, which I think was the printed version, not the online version.
Oh, okay. There's like different ones circulating.
I think there was the two, because he kept trying to say, like, is this the online one?
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't get him to answer that. And you notice how, like, even today he was asking like about like the metadata. Like, I have no idea when that video was from. That was the other thing I wanted to talk about, was that video. So she's recording him all pissed off and slamming the cupboard doors.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't fighting. That wasn't their fight. He was pissed because he found out that his business managers were taking his money. Like in the millions.
So it's like, what was the relevance? Just to show him unstable. Even though it was valid, he had every right to be upset in that moment. They're painting it a certain way for their benefit now.
Right, because that video literally has nothing to do with her. So she felt the need to record it. Why? Once again, this is the whole, like, there's a setup happening. Why are you recording him? What is the benefit of this? Who are you sending these to? Because once again, the context you're leaving totally out, and you're making it seem like she's like, I didn't do anything. Like we were totally fine. We were totally getting along, and blah blah blah. And he's like, this doesn't have anything to do with you. Like, did anything happen to you today? You know what I mean? Like, no, nothing. Like, leave me alone. I'm pissed. I just found out that my business managers, who are supposedly these good guys, are stealing all my money. I'd be slamming shit too. Shit, you steal $5, I'm probably going to slam my cupboard.
Yeah, she maybe for divorce court, she just thought, like, look how horrible he is. I don't know. She's just very conniving. I hope the jury sees that.
I see it. This is why I say, like, all of this stuff that, like, we see, like, do they see the same thing?
They have to. And it's a win. I think it's going to be a win either way for Johnny. You know?
Yeah, he admitted to assaulting a couple of cabinets, admitted to assaulting a couple of couches. Yeah, they don't see each other. This was the other really weird thing, is that she leaves to go to Coachella, and they don't see each other again for a really long time. And he only sees her after his mom passes away, because he probably wants to be consoled, and it turns into another fight.
Yeah, it was like a month. It was April. They like parted ways, and then his mom died in the end of May.
Yeah. And then he goes back and sees her again, and then he said that they get in this other big fight, and he's like, yeah, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. And then she files the TRO on him, and then begs him to come over. And then there's that's the other big one that we didn't talk about, was this video or this audio of him puking and like cutting at himself, where she's just standing there flipping recording him. Like, don't do that. Don't cut yourself. Don't do that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was hard to hear. That was hard to listen to.
Like, he's in there, obviously. There, like, my first instinct, if that's my husband, the person I love, is not to go grab my video camera or my phone. Like, if she was concerned for his safety, there's no 911 call that's like, hey, I'm concerned for his safety. Right. This is the one that makes me believe exactly what you said. If he actually did do something to hurt himself, and it worked, I think she would stand there and record the whole thing and be like, see, I told you guys. Told you guys he was in a bad way. Nobody listened. Instead of calling for help.
Because they had arguments about a prenup, and so they get married without a prenup, and then Johnny talks to his lawyer about signing some after marriage prenup. Remember they talked about that a little bit? So to me, it's like, for her to be so upset about a prenup and then they get married and it's still kind of an issue, I'm like wondering, I don't know. She's just unstable. I think it could have gone really wrong for Johnny if he didn't get out like he did.
I agree. I don't think that would have ended very well.
I mean, look at the level it already got to.
Their fights are very interesting, and they are crazy. I would like to actually see a true fight versus like these weird fights that they just like, I don't know, like the one, like she didn't want to get out of the car. She wanted to get out of the car, and he wasn't going to let her get out of the car, and so she's like, I'm ready to go home or whatever. And I'm just like that's what you're recording. Like, that's your big to do, but yet you're saying that he has done all these other things to you, such as the one today that they're trying to imply that the scratches on her arm came from him, but there's no photos of like that being published as evidence. She recorded everything else. Why is this fight not being recorded? Where she's throwing vodka bottles at him, or was it recorded and now nobody just knows where it is, because that makes no sense to me. Where are those fights where he's physically hurting her according to her, her story?
No one is, and no one can testify to that.
No, they're going to be able to testify after that. Oh yeah, we saw the scratches.
And where does Elon and James Franco play in the timeline?
So Elon actually lived in the penthouse, because he says that he kind of just like couch surfs, or used to. I don't know if he still does, but he was at the penthouse, and like they'd only been together like a month. I think it was like a month after they'd been married, and Johnny Depp supposedly accused her of having an affair with Elon Musk.
I believe it.
I don't know if you've seen Elon Musk, but I'm not sure. But I mean, it's money.
Money.
Money, fame, connections.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, they never signed a postnuptial. They never signed a prenuptial. No, she didn't want any of that. The scratches were, I think she gave herself the scratches on the airplane. But supposedly the head of security saw them the day that the fight happened, but I don't know.
The guy who you'll listen to that you didn't finish today talks about the scratches a little bit and says that they were like, I can't remember his terminology, but it made me kind of think that it was like a razor, maybe.
He said something about them being like lateral and like almost perfect.
Yes.
I'm gonna switch to my phone real quick. I gotta pick up a kid from gymnastics, so I'm gonna switch over.
I cannot for the life of me find the title.
I can't believe Missy doesn't know.
So strange. Maybe they're just not circulating the second one as to not cause confusion.
Well, I don't know. If they changed it, wouldn't the second one be what is circulating? You see what I mean? Like the first one would be the one that would be hard to find, I would think.
Right.
Yeah, that James Franco is when she was filming. Somebody in chat probably knows. She was filming something with James Franco, and he supposedly accused her of having an affair with him as well. I'm trying to get in on my phone.
It's crazy. Like, I mean, I'm not excusing the way that he to her, but if there were already things going on where he like infidelity and all that, I feel like then that could maybe explain his level of disrespect, like as far as like the name calling, like not excusing it, but like think about it. If Elon Musk is living like in that penthouse and she's going on I kind of understand like his disrespectfulness towards her, I guess.
I mean, I thought it was that Elon Musk had been to Johnny Depp's penthouse.
Well, he owned the penthouse, the building of penthouses. So he'd let anybody stay wherever they wanted to stay, and basically didn't charge him any money. But somebody in chat's going to have to tell me if I'm right or wrong. But I think she got the penthouses in the divorce, which is why Isaac had to move out.
Oh.
Somebody tell me if I'm right or wrong there.
That sounds right, but I'm not sure about all the details. I just know that there were rumors and that there was elevator footage.
Yeah, so like way back, like around like, I don't know, years ago, like when more of this was happening, I was under the impression that she did cheat on Johnny Depp with Elon. And that's just what I thought about that is what happened. But
there's elevator video of Amber kissing and cuddling with Franco and Elon? Not at the same time, right, Crystal?
I don't know about not in like the same time, like not threesome.
But there is other threesome
houses.
Like,
and he ended up selling them all.
Wait, what? Sorry,
they sold that somebody said that her and Elon had a threesome with some other actress, like a younger actress,
Oh, yep, I heard that.
and that Elon said that that was not true. But I mean, she kind of seems like a.
I mean, they were talking about MDMA all the time in this trial thus far, so I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that she's like throwing him out at the wedding. That's like the party favors when you go to her wedding. You get a bunch of ecstasy.
Gosh, I missed that part. They said that.
Yeah, that she basically had Johnny like order them, and that was like her party favors at the wedding. So they were all on.
It was practically on the schedule. Like she had it timed out. Like that was on the list of events.
Here, come to the wedding, and we're gonna give you a bunch of E.
Wow. Yeah, I just have a feeling that's a lot of what hers and Johnny's relationship was based on, was like a chemical romance. And it's like when everything wears off, I think they were like, who the F are you, you know?
Yeah, I don't think that they weren't even showing each other like the real versions of themselves.
Yes.
Dinner, dancing, and drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm driving, so I can't read chat now. Otherwise, I'm going to get in trouble.
No worries. I can read you a few comments.
Okay. All right. Now I'm trying to think back. Like, was there any other weird recordings and videos? See, I can't even remember them at this point. There's no way I can remember them after 7 weeks.
Right. Let me think. I mean, we have yet to hear Johnny admit on any of the audios that he did put his hands on her. Where
Nope.
the opposite has occurred. Heard her say, "You're not punched. I hit you."
You stop being a baby.
Yeah, and it's like, I just feel like he's gonna be cleared whether it goes in his way in court or not. Like, I think that it's safe to say his reputation is definitely better after the trial than before. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Do you think there's a possibility that he loses and she wins?
No.
Yeah, I think it's possible. Yeah. I think it's
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess theoretically it is possible. I just don't think it'll go that way.
I think it's possible because how they were trying to corner him today, like, is this specific article is what is at question.
True.
It's this article. And like if they can get, if they agree that like that was defamatory towards him or not, it's gonna be whether they can convince him that the jury that influenced what happened in his career, that article.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but then vice versa. Is anything that's happened post article with what he has said or done, has it caused her to lose anything? What has she lost? Because that's what she's trying to say, is that he's basically ruined her career in Hollywood because of him saying that she's a liar. But so even if he loses, I just cannot see how she would win, because the evidence is still there that shows that he isn't lying about her. She did hit him. She was addicted to drugs.
I mean, but she did all this to herself. Like, she wrote it. He didn't.
Right. He basically says that, like, she had a choice. I didn't.
It's going to be interesting to hear her side of everything. That's for sure.
So I missed the last hour of today's. So is the house manager guy, is he done, or is he back in the morning?
Trying to remember. I think he's back in the morning.
Okay. So then I'm almost positive Elon is on her witness list. So there's no way he's testifying until they wrap up. And they haven't, Johnny's team hasn't even rested yet. I don't know who else they have on their witness list. Does anybody know?
I don't know.
It's a surprise.
Winona Ryder.
What?
Somebody mentioned Winona Ryder. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, but are they going to like call his ex-wife and stuff?
I don't know why they wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it doesn't have anything to do with that article. So I mean, I guess then she probably can't testify.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, so Smalls heard Winona too. They're calling a virtual witness first thing in the morning. Do we know who that is? Have I seen the Gone Girl comparison? I have not. I'm at a red light. I'm at a red light, FYI.
I wish that Winona and him would get back together.
I like them.
Me too. They're both like their own. They just seem so good together because they're both kind of like eccentric.
So have you seen his artwork?
I have not, and I'm surprised.
Okay, I'm gonna have to show you a video. It's him actually creating his art. He's amazing. He's an amazing artist, like crazy good.
Yeah.
But I was watching a video and it was really weird because he talks about like the people are interviewing him and like they're recording him and he's like, I didn't pursue art because my passion was acting and I didn't want people to basically, I'm paraphrasing, but basically for people to like my art because I was a good actor. Like it wasn't, I wanted it to stand on its own. And it was literally almost verbatim what he said his first day on the stand when he was talking about going back to music. And you remember that like, he was talking about that he didn't want to go back to music because of the fact that he didn't want to succeed in music because of his success in acting and people just, supporting him, not for his actual talent. It was almost verbatim, and it was the weirdest thing because I was like, does he have that line like memorized and he just inserted music to art? Like how many times has he told this story?
Interesting. I'm sure certain topics he's just asked over and over and he just kind of runs the stories together. I really don't know.
No, but you're gonna have to see his artwork though, because it's just incredible. He paints like the men that he's like talked about like during the trial that have passed away, like his good friends or his idols. He like paints murals of them, incredible murals. Like so that I feel like I've learned so much about Johnny Depp that I did not know before. Like I knew he liked music. I knew that's where he kind of came from. I knew his acting history a little bit. I didn't know that about the Nicolas Cage thing. That was interesting to me. But I had no clue about him being such an artist. And like somebody said in the very beginning of this live that he talks poetically. Like he uses words as like pure like descriptors versus like just making the statement.
Yeah, he's a very eccentric, intellectual spirit. I feel like he's just all around artist.
All around artist for real.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that her attorney, I think, did not like that Johnny Depp appeared smarter than him.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Theresa, it's so interesting you mentioned the dynamic between her lawyer. You're talking about her lawyer today. Yeah. I just was thinking about that today too, because it just made me realize that like, oh my gosh, like I feel like this lawyer probably has to like give himself a pep talk, like, okay, it's me versus Johnny Depp. You can do this, buddy. You got this. And it's like really like like you said, Johnny Depp is actually like the alpha, I guess, and superior intellectual in the scenario at the courtroom. And I thought about that dynamic too, and I was like, wow, I feel so like this guy is like a little worm compared to like, and Johnny's not even like a overly masculine type guy, but his intellect and just the way he is, you just see him as like, wow, he's just something so special, like this specimen of like male up here in this like courtroom, and him going against that lawyer who's just this like little wormy guy, like
but you're even wormier because he just seems he's so casually answering the questions, at a very, steady speed. And I think the lawyer wanted to try to piss him off to get the reaction, like the typical like on-screen, movie reaction on the stand where you get them so pissed that they like lose their temper and then the jury can see that like Johnny's a bad dude.
Yeah.
I think that he did not understand that dynamic. And then when, I don't remember who it was that testified, but talked about how Amber Heard was much quicker with her words and much sharper with her words, and how Johnny could not keep up with that because that's just not how his brain works. So she would ultimately win these arguments based on the fact that she was just snappier. And I think that his attorney or her attorney almost turned into her, like acting like that to try to get like a leg up on him. And all it made me think was, this guy's a prick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely see every tactic they've used thus far hasn't been very good.
Smalls said about we before we went on live, Theresa had said NK, or one of you guys said NK vibes. Totally. Smalls says that too.
Like we're watching a trial that NK could have been Amber Heard. Like this is what she would have been like.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Definitely. It's like a bipolar, allegedly.
Some have said that his long responses and his kind of humor back to her attorney makes him look bad. Like that he shouldn't be saying some of the things that he says, like, were you there? Or it's happy hour, you know, isn't it happy hour anytime? Like some of his responses are not.
I agree.
I don't think anything's
on
made him
some
look
level.
bad.
That's what I was basically going to say. Like, if it wasn't Johnny Depp, I feel like you shouldn't speak that way. But like you said, it's not going to matter how he behaves because people just respect him.
Yeah.
But him kind of being quick to anger at times, it can be used against him, but it didn't seem like they really tried to go that route.
Well, it doesn't seem like he let them go there. I think they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But he would turn to humor instead.
Yeah. And he's like snarky at times, but like in a humorous way at the same time. You know what I mean?
Right. But I mean, it's a fair question. Like, oh, so you're drinking heavily that morning. I think that the question of like, what do you consider heavily versus were you there? He talks the same way in Text Crystal. I agree. And no, we have not, Steph. We did not bring up the outfit copycatting. See, I told you there's too much. Have you guys noticed that she's copying his outfits and his hairstyles?
I don't know. One day last week, she had like a bump it in the back of her hair.
Well, he wore like that gray suit with like the double pocket on the side.
Yep.
And then the next day, like she's there with like a gray suit.
Yep.
A black shirt underneath, just like how he had.
I've seen multiple comparisons with outfits and then the ponytail. And then he would drink of the water bottle and she'd grab her water bottle and drink the drink. And then today, you know what I noticed, which I haven't seen yet on clip channels, but I'm sure somebody will. Did you guys see that she had glasses on today?
Yep.
I didn't see.
Yeah. Like what? Wait a minute. So then that begs the question, does she typically wear contacts? And now today she's wearing glasses. And if that's the case, this is what I thought of as soon as I saw that pair of glasses. If he had headbutted her or broken her nose or given her these black eyes, I'm somebody I've worn contacts since I was 13. So there's no way that she's going to have contacts in during any of those photos with her black eye.
Right. It would be nice to know if she really needs them because it's like,
right,
you're just that fake or, you know, because if they're just there for prop. But today he would take his glasses off and then they'd show her and she was taking her glasses off.
You're kidding me.
I swear it's going to be out there. Like he was like reading something on his monitor, took the glasses off, and then she took her glasses off.
Well, Missy says narcissist mirror. So, I mean, that does make sense. I don't know. I cannot recall a picture of her with glasses on ever.
Never.
I was never an Amber Heard fan though, so it's not like I know what she's looked like, throughout time. But no, I think that there's definite behavioral issues that are going on with her that are well beyond my comprehension.
Oh yeah.
And they were drinking water at the same time.
Yes.
So he'd take a drink and then she'd take a drink.
Yep.
That's creepy.
Like, is she messing with him?
Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe she wants to be him. I don't know, man. That's why I said that's way beyond my scope of expertise.
I agree, CDT. It is scary behavior.
Well, once again, somebody's got to be telling her, like, this is what you should wear. This is what you need to do your hair like.
Yes.
I mean, this is a team of attorneys. This isn't like a public defender who's like put on a nice shirt.
Right.
Like, they're dressing her and helping her. Like, why are they? Is it because this was my other thought? The jury seems to be really leaning towards liking Johnny Depp, so they want them to look at her the same.
100.
But really, what they should be doing is making her look like more like a lady, versus with these pantsuits. And if she looked more homely, more stay-at-home wifey,
I think they're doing a balance of both, because like she's looked the day that they talked about the poop, she was so feminine looking and just like old Hollywood, like classy. Like she had like that cream colored suit on, and I was like, this woman here did that.
Yeah, that's true. She does. She tries to bring like an old 1960s, woman's look to the courtroom.
Yeah, and that's just not her. Like, I feel like they're thinking, like you said, it's working for Johnny, so they want to use a little bit of that tactic and also make her look very like just radiant. Like today she looked super, like she had like that skirt on and the high neck shirt. It just looked very like conservative.
But she looks unapproachable. They're not dressing her to look friendly.
True, she looks stiff and stuffy.
She does. She looks like a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I can't see the jury feeling anything towards her. Maybe it's just because I don't know. If somebody in the chat feels a different way, let me know. Yeah, Team Johnny, Phoebe. I know, I agree. She's a user and a liar. I'm sure she has help, but I feel like Amber makes the final say. Well, probably. Her friends seem to just bow down to whatever she thinks is important, which is ridiculous. Her frumpy frown doesn't help either. Nope, it doesn't. That's why I said she just looks all ugh. Has anyone met anybody on Team Amber? I look at a lot of the comments on the videos that I watch, and especially because I watched the trial on Law and Crime, and I look at the comments there, and about every 15th, 20th comment, there's somebody who supports Amber and thinks that Johnny's an asshole. No, okay, so I'm gonna have to hop off here soon, but Amber, as this continues, will you come back and hang out with us? Am I alone?
Yeah, no, I think she muted herself for a second, but until she comes back, I just want to remind everybody that whoever watches like the replays and stuff, that we have the podcast now.
Woo woo! Criminality podcasting.
So you guys can listen or let your friends know.
Pretty much find it on any platform that you listen to your podcasts.
Yeah. So we have this link on our YouTube page, like on the About section and in our group and stuff. But wherever you listen to podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, Audible, Google Podcasts, and Apple, the podcast, you can find us there.
And we have a beautiful graphic thanks to Christine.
Yeah, that's a whole little mini website.
Website.
That looks really nice.
And we're fancy up in here now. We're all fancy. Yeah, make sure if you guys aren't subbed, that's the least you could do to
Oh my gosh, my dog.
the thumbs up and sub to the channel if you're not already. But Amber, I don't know if you heard me. I was asking, as this continues, will you come back and talk to us about it?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And I'll actually write my notes down because I've just been watching for entertainment. But
Well, me too.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I need to talk about it out loud.
Yeah. I'd be ecstatic to come on and talk to you guys again.
Oh, we adore you. We love you guys. We love all you guys in chat, CDT.
Oh my gosh, did you guys just hear my dog going crazy, or was that muted?
That was muted.
Okay.
But thank you guys all so much for spending your Monday night here in on this impromptu Johnny Depp live.
Yes.
And we're gonna
guys.
get on Friday. We'll cover some other cases, and I'll probably have to just talk about Johnny Depp just because that's just how it's gonna probably go. But there's a couple cases that we want to cover on Friday. But Amber, thank you so much for the last minute coming on and hanging out with us.
No problem. Anytime, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Love everybody. Night.
Bye.